All right, welcome back to the hangar. So probably going to be the last video until I do the test runs on it and taxi test. But I want to do a real quick update so to kind of show you how we're looking here. So I did get the Cortex gyro installed, programmed, and I'm kind of going through tying up the wires. Made a couple leads for the DLPH2, the power system. That way I don't have to plug the batteries in and out of the actual DLPH all the time. I'll just have to unplug them. I got to put the female version on the end of the two wires you see there. There's two on each side. But I left them a little long. I didn't want to go cutting it or doing anything like that and actually end up needing the batteries to come back further and have a lead that's too short. So I kind of left them long like that for a reason. And I will do the final, hopefully those are long enough, I'll do the final trim based on where I need to put the batteries for the CGing. The turbine battery will probably go right here on this side, just against the wall with Velcro, kind of like from what I was told, the original setup, he had a turbine battery right here, and then the power system battery, which he only had one, I believe, was up in this area here on the board. So I'm kind of hoping that it'll CG with that when I put it on the CG machine, which is kind of the next step. Got the cockpit glued together. You know, it's half-ass scale, I guess that's what you could call it. These seats are not stock. These are ones that I 3D printed, and they look way better than the actual just blocks of look-alike seats they had in here. So I got to paint them. I got to do some OD here and some gray up here, and then they'll be done. So I just got them glued in, and it'll go in here just like this. This cockpit, or the dash, will go. I got to figure out how I'm going to put this in because it needs to be kind of removable. So I may just do some Velcro tape or some kind of tape to kind of hold it up in the we're in position where it needs to be. That way if I need to remove it I can, because this will stay in the actual model, and then when I need to do things, get the batteries out to check them, you just lift this up out of the way, pull the batteries and charge and everything. I'm also going to extend out to the edge and paint this whole area black. It's all chipping off anyways, but it'll look good because the inside of the canopy is painted black. That way you won't see any blue kind of coming in, and it'll clean up all this chipping paint. They just slap paint on them. They don't sand, they don't prep, they don't primer. That's typical Asian paint job for you. So it's brittle. You look at it wrong and it chips off. It's like that on all these. So it's not just the BVM stuff. But yeah, and that kind of brings it to a completion point. And I also did put the telemetry adapter in. So I talked to Gaspar. I knew that they had the Jetty telemetry built in, so you could just run a lead from the Pro Hub to your telemetry port on your receiver or whatever. Did that, it wasn't reading, so I sent him a message. He's like, yeah, there's an issue with the Futaba not registering or pulling data properly, so he's got to do some more testing. Will probably come in a firmware update down the road. So if you have a Futaba or one of the other radios besides Jetty, you still got to use the old Telemetry X module, and it just plugs in where your terminal, where the GCU plugs in on the bottom. So you got the top port here is your throttle, the bottom is your GCU or telemetry in this case. This side is pump, and this auxiliary port that you'll see is on like the turboprop and heli. That's where you plug your governor in, I believe. And then there's another port above this telemetry for future expansions. And I kind of like the indications on this one. They add some indications. It shows you a couple little lights here. What's going on? Let me see if I can. So one is RC, battery, X-bus, and telemetry. It's just indications. You get green or red, and then that pink circle there when it when you go like trim up and everything, it goes a solid color. And I'm guessing it'll probably give you some codes or flashings. I gotta check, or it may not. But it just kind of sucks that I don't have the Futaba and I still had to use the adapter, but he'll get there. Like I said, I wish he'd stop releasing stuff before it's completely done, but that's just Gaspar. So, and I was putting the wings on, tightening them down, and I found another issue. All the clamp bolts are loose. Like you can literally turn the nuts with, they have bolts with lock nuts on them. And I don't know if they were just, they shouldn't be loose. I mean, there's no reason I can think of. There's, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back, 5 in the back, 4 in the back. So 4, 4, 4, and 4, and they're all loose. So I got to check that and tighten them up because the wings will move a little bit. Even when you clamp them down, they're secure, but it's just going to get worse with time. So I need to tighten all those screws, which is another reason why I tell people don't just assume that they do that when you get one of these plug and play. So always go back and check it. So I think I've already checked these, but I'm going to go through and check all the landing gear. I'm pretty sure I checked the landing gear already, but I'm going to go back over it and check all the ones that I can get to, especially for critical stuff like the wings and things like that. And I believe I checked, I thought I checked all the clamps for the rudders when I had the pipe and everything out. That would suck but I don't feel any slop in those. But I will try to check those as well. So I did check the stabs. That's when I found that one loose screw for the bracket. But hopefully I'll get them all. So that's pretty much it. Radio programming's done. The gyro's good. I just have to do a final mount for the batteries once I determine where the CG is going to, like where the batteries need to be for the CG. And I'm going to go with the stock. It's about 1.5 inches or 2 inches forward of the spar. And from what I've been told, that's a very conservative. So I'll start there. And I've heard other people that they went back like a 1/2 inch. I might just go ahead and do that anyways, because I don't want to have a lot of up when I'm inverted, you know, and you want to be able to get a good high alpha on your approach, you know, and fly it with power. So we'll see. I'm going to start with the stock and see how it goes. All right, so that's it. Just a little update for you guys. And then once this is done, since I'll have the CG machine out, I'm going to put the SU on the CG and do the final CGing of it. The parachute thing, I'm probably just going to pull it, leave the whole probe area there for the chute, but I could run one chute, but two's just not going to fit in there. Well, I'll take it back. I have 2 in there, but the air cylinder is not strong enough to push them out. So I got to rework that. Either put an electric actuator in there, which will be the only really alternative, which explains why they use that ridiculously beefy linear actuator that they had. But I'd rather just use an Actronics like the Speed Brake. That way it runs off the power system. You don't have a separate controller, separate battery. So that's probably where it's going to go. And I might go ahead and do that, you know, and just be done with it just to kind of finish it. Because I really want the chute deployment to work. Even though I won't do it that often, just because it's a pain in the butt to repack it in there. But I want to have that option because it's, you know, scale, cool factor. And also, the first couple flights, I'm going to leave it unattached in the fuselage. So if it does some kind of crazy pull out and, the chutes get sucked out, because this, there's no locking mechanism on this. It's just a magnet, and it's not a very strong magnet. And you kind of see the stuff starts falling out already. Yeah, because it's just such a tight fit. That might be part of it. I may have to move it further in take the linear actuator way back here and give it more room in the tube. But then, you don't want it too far back because it's got to be long enough to push out. So. And then once this is done, I might fool with the F-22. I'm just kind of so sick and disgusted with that thing. Because I've been considering redoing how I did all the wiring and rewiring everything. So we'll see. I don't know. I've thought about selling it. Just getting rid of it. But anyways, I have to do a couple fixes on the A7. The A7's got a one of the landing gear, main landing gear, like the left side has so much wear and slop in it from just being soft metal that when you put the brakes on, the wheel does this rapidly and blurs, and it's hitting the fuselage, and it's just going to keep getting worse until it fails or breaks something. So I got to fix that. And then I got to work on the nose door for the Minion jet. So got a few things to do. But you guys have a good one. And like I said, next video will probably be the taxi, engine run taxi on this guy. So cheers.